Hey everybody, Steve here at Grill and Garage, and in this video what I'm going to do is show you how to convert your Gen 1 Camp Chef Woodwind 24 pellet grill with the new Wi-Fi controller that you can buy. This retrofitted controller fits right onto where the original digital controller is that just uses the analog knob, and I'm going to show you how to replace that. It is a really easy job. Probably I would say difficulty level is mouth breather. Mouth breather could easily do this with, we're going to take out 6 screws and unplug some plugs and plug some new ones in, and this job will be finished. All right, in the package came 2 new temperature probes. We're going to set those aside. I've still got my old temperature probes and they work just fine, so I'll keep these for a rainy day. And then you got the Wi-Fi controller right here. You can see they're showing us the fake lens. I'm going to leave this on here until we're done installing. I'm going to leave all of these labels on until we're done installing. We're just going to use these 2 screw holes right here. Let me turn this over and show you a little bit of bad form here by Camp Chef. It came, actually it came adequately wrapped with, bubble wrap, but the gasket that came with it right here, this foam gasket, was just laying aside like that. That's the way it came, looked just like that out of the box. And I want you to notice it was just laid into place right here. It wasn't cut and trimmed to fit around here. And this is a piece that's going to be subject, maybe possibly, to weather. So actually, here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually not going to use this. I'm going to take this off, because I don't think it's going to do as much good as they would have hoped, and they didn't adhere very good. And I'm actually going to put RTV silicone, just a very thin bead of RTV around the edge of this, so that when it gets mounted, it's going to be sealed up against the grill. And I don't have to worry about water intrusion getting in on this. You can see that it is a computerized piece. And so this is what it came with. So you can do it. If yours had a better gasket on it, then maybe I would encourage you to keep the gasket on it. But if not, then maybe consider doing what I'm going to do and just putting some RTV silicone around it, and that will probably do it just fine. Now, I can't imagine that Camp Chef necessarily is going to void a warranty for taking off something that already wasn't on. Maybe they could do a little better job of putting a one-piece gasket around here. I think that would work better anyway. Anyway, let's get to the installation. That's going to be pretty easy. Okay, we're going to walk through some tools and safety precautions. For the tools you're going to need a Phillips screwdriver, and you're going to need something to clip off some wire ties, and you're going to need, maybe I suggest that you have a couple extra wire ties to use to replace the ones that you're going to cut off. Okay, now like I said to you earlier, with this gasket around here, I'm actually going to put a little RTV silicone around the edge of this, and that's just going to stop any moisture intrusion into this as much as I can anyway. All right, the first thing you're going to do is unplug your grill if it's plugged in. My cord's wrapped around the handle right there. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove 4 screws at the base of the pellet hopper. 1 in the front, 2 on the sides, and then there's 1 around back. And this will hold a tray that will drop out of the bottom of the pellet hopper. And then I'm going to remove the 2 screws that hold the old controller on, 1 and 2. Okay, with the bottom tray removed, I'm going to set that aside in a safe place. And I've taken this panel off. And the next thing I'm going to do is just peek up in there and make sure that there's no spiders lurking around. If there are, I will dispatch of them expediently. Okay, I and the spiders are safe now, and so now what I'm going to show you we're going to do is, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this temperature probe wire off right here. That's just the top wire, top white wire, and it's clipped on, and all you do to remove that is simply push on the top of the clip and pull it out. Okay, looking into the hole from the controller, we're going to look in, and you see the wire tie right there. We're going to cut that from underneath. We're going to cut that wire tie, and we're going to be pulling these plugs off. Now you need to make sure that these are labeled. Make sure that these are labeled. And you're going to see those labels on the plugs For example, right there, you see the letter B on those plugs. And you're going to want to make sure that yours are labeled. If any of your labels have fallen off, try to find whatever the matching one is and write that on there with a Sharpie marker or something like that, so that you know where they go. I want to make sure that I have matching labels on my plugs, A to A. So now I'm going to pull that apart. And then this one will be unlabeled, and that's supposed to be. Okay, so the controller, these are labeled. Okay, so for reference, maybe yours were not labeled. I have purple one or gray wire is A, red wire is B, and orange wire is C. And then there was an unmarked, as there should be, and that's the black wire. Okay, here I've got the new controller, and I'm going to start plugging those plugs back in. But I do want to point out one difference. On the old controller, the temperature plug was up here in the corner, but the new location for that temperature plug is right down here in the middle. You'll see a blank spot right here. So we're going to get that small white plug right here like we had before, and it just slides into that space. Okay, and now we're going to start plugging these plugs in the correct location. You'll notice that they're all labeled. There's the unlabeled black, A is purple, B is red, C is orange, and we're just going to plug those back in the order that they go, and then we're going to rewire tie them right back there. Okay, so I'll show you that in just a minute. Let me plug these in. Okay, we have those wires plugged back in now. I did go ahead and reattach their foam gasket around the edge of this unit. There wasn't quite enough to go all the way around, but I got the top and the two sides because that's the direction that water would be flowing. But I am going to go ahead and take some silicone. I took some denatured alcohol and cleaned this border off right here, this flange, and so I'm going to just put a small bead of silicone around that. I just want to give this some extra protection. Okay, looking up at the unit, I'm underneath the unit now, looking up. This is the front of the grill is that way. Here's the controller, and you'll see that I've just put a couple of additional wire ties on here back where they were. Tied one back here, also tied these together. They're not snug, they're just kind of holding the harnesses together and taking any pressure off of anything dangling down or anything like that. Okay, so now I'm going to reinstall this bottom plate just with 4 screws that go right around the edge, one here, 2 on the sides, and 1 in the front, and that'll sew this up.